Hi friends, MD Vegan. I make breakfast today, and breakfast is a big part of my food categories. Very important. There are many things to tell about breakfast in general, but we have one kind of breakfast that is called a granola or porridge. Yeah, in raw food that can be pretty similar, but it is a granola, for example, is with seeds, nuts, fruit usually, and nut milks, plant milks or so. It is more crunchy, more firm, the granola, the grain. Yeah? And porridge is usually softer, like oftentimes it is cooked, but in raw food you can also blend. And I do now have grain that is a flaxseed here, and notice the seed, and oats here, oat groats. That's my grain, and flax seeds. It's my seed. So both here are in this porridge or granola as you wish, and I blend them, and both are very recommended. Yeah, granolas are famous. The oatmeals are also famous. The oatmeals are famous at a breakfast of porridge, yeah, and because the oats is so high in protein and very powerful grain. The horses love it when they come out of the barn in the summertime, in the spring. They get the oats and they are full of power. I've seen that. It's amazing. So oats really is powerful. It keeps for a while, makes you strong for the day. That's why it's so favorite in breakfast. Very inexpensive too, and very good available. And the flaxseed have another advantage. I will blend them, so I prepare my instrument, the blender. Yeah. The flaxseed is different because it is a seed, so it's also high in fat and protein, but as seeds and grains are less fat than nuts. The big difference between nuts and seeds is the fat content. Yeah? And the protein is higher in nuts and in seeds and grains, and the fat content is higher in nuts. There's also a little bit protein, but less. Yeah? More is in. So combining both seeds and nuts, grains, is perfect to get your protein and fat content in a fruit breakfast. It's also important that you have, for a filling and keeping breakfast, it's good to have a sufficient amount of fats and proteins. Now, we eat always, everything we eat has three ingredients, three main parts, yeah? Nutrients, macronutrients. The main nutrients are the macronutrients, that what we count the calories with. Yeah? How much we eat is oftentimes determined by calories, how much energy it produces in the body when you burn it. Very simple, calorie is for how much heat is produced, how much energy. And then we have the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fat. Yeah, protein and fat are the smaller parts, and we don't need as much as carbohydrates. We need much carbohydrate. That's the most important calorie we eat, usually. Yeah? And fat and protein is the smaller part, usually in a healthy diet. Yeah? So the fatty part here is the macadamia nuts. Yeah? So I have nuts, seeds, and grains all together. So both granola and porridge can become together, and I want that granola texture, so I put apples in there, yeah, but later. That makes it a little bit more crunchy, yeah, because the apple. So I'll come to that later. First, to make it creamy, yeah, I have to blend it creamy. I have to use a banana here for these three, so I have 2 bananas here for a small amount of nuts and seeds. And together with the banana comes a lemon here, half a lemon only, because the lemon makes the banana so delicious and keeps the color light. It's important because otherwise it can turn a little bit brown, and that makes it not so delicious too. If you blend it for some time and you let it sit for a while, the banana like to turn brown. That looks like a little bit wasted. So a little bit, but the lemon can make a big difference in the color, the visual, and it tastes also fantastic together with banana. And I have raisins to make it sweeter, also a little bit crunchy. And now we come to a very important, interesting point. For the breakfast, should be delicious. And if you eat just oat groats, it can be a little bit tart, can a little bit be unpleasant. Yeah? Especially have the whole groats. If you have oatmeal, that is no problem. Oatmeal usually is not tart. When you cook them or when you ground them or mix them, there is no tartness. But the oat groats, the fresh oat groats, they can be a little tart and bitter, and the raisins here are perfect to balance that, together with the macadamias, by the way. Macadamias too. I use the macadamia nuts here especially because of the oats. The oats and the flax seeds too have a kind of savoriness. Yeah? They are very nice for savory recipes. Yeah? And the cashew nuts would be sweet, and the macadamia nuts would be rather savory. So I use the savory macadamia nuts for oats and flax seeds. That's a special reason. Together also with the raisins, they also have a stronger, more pungent flavor than dates, for example. You can also use dates here, but the raisins here seem to be a little bit more appropriate to balance the savory aspects of the flax seeds and the oats, both. I tried it before and it's really delicious, I tell you. So now I have a last part, the seasoning, that is also very nice with apple together. That is cinnamon. I have here a tablespoon of cinnamon and a small amount of cardamom. Cardamom is a very healthy recipe. Yeah? A recipe, spice, not recipe, spice. And cardamom is a spice that is from India, very well known. And most of our spices are from India, by the way. They came in the medieval times. They came by shipping and by I guess the Silk Road, I don't know. They came to Europe, and the first big cities, the first free cities in Europe, Venice, for example, became very famous and rich with the trade of spices. Spices were very expensive, and the Indians have an ancient tradition about the health benefits of spices and herbs in general. And so the spices, the cardamom spice is very common in India. It's for both sweet and savory recipes. It's everywhere, especially also for sweet, like this one. And it is very nice for the stomach. It calms the stomach down. It's very good. I use it in my tea, for example. I like to drink a tea, a chai, Indian tea with spice of cardamom and ginger too, but it's not in here. So this is my main ingredients. All but the apples. I show you the apples last. But first I have to ground that, to blend that now in a creamy texture. For that I take a cup of water, not too much. It shouldn't be too much, not too runny. Yeah. And I will now, with the blender hands, and then I taste again my granola, yeah, porridge maybe. Sounds goes even back from this woo woo in the beginning when the ingredients are not very equal, not very smooth, and it goes to ooh, the more, then it is the blending is complete. So usually I try it now, I taste it. It looks thick, yes. That should be thick, yes. Like a porridge, a little bit. There's still a porridge more, the thickness. Let's taste it. Very good. Make sure only half a lemon. I tried it first with a whole lemon. It was clearly too much. Not bad, but too much. A lemon should not be predominant here. The lemon is just a little bit to balance the bitterness from the oats and the flax seeds, more the oats, and to make the banana more delicious, and to keep the color. So not too much. That's perfect now. And I have one more apple at last. Yes, I guess it's okay. I wonder if I should take a little bit more water, because a little bit, because it is flax seeds in there, and the flax seeds is not very super healthy because of the protein in there, the healthy fats, omega-3 fat. That's the rare fat we always need, and it's also lignans. Lignans and the high fiber, they're very good to prevent from colorectal cancer. There's these very healthy flax seeds, and they have this gel when it comes out, when they are blended or soaked. The gel would carry out of the body the heavy metals. That's also why flax seeds and chia seed are very healthy. So there I put a little bit more water, because when the gel comes out, the soaking is strong and gets a little bit more thick. So a little bit more water just to balance this gel up effect. And here I have cut the apple in small pieces, because now it comes a very interesting aspect. Because granola, as I said before, is a little bit the thing of texture too. Like a smoothie has a different texture, a granola has a different texture, and a soup has a different texture. And dressings and so on. It's very much to do with texture, what kind of food category you put it in. And the apple, if you blend it in a smoothie, destroys a little bit the creaminess, makes it a little bit more, not crunchy, but the firm parts in there. Apple has a lot of fiber. And I will use that effect and not blend it, but pulse. I pulse the apple pieces into the granola to make it a granola. Now it's still a porridge, yeah, with the flaxseed. And now with the apple, it can be a little bit more like a granola. So only pulsing, not too much. Careful. Yeah, let's see if that works. It looks good. And cinnamon is also the perfect spice for apples. That looks now good. Yeah, it looks a little bit like a granola more. I want it. Yes, I'm sure it will keep for a lot of time. I don't have to eat that much afterwards. Before, that's soon before I eat again, because it's not nice in keeping. So I put it here. You see this? You see the little coarseness here from the apple. Yeah, could even be a little bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but that's very nice. See, this is my granola porridge maybe. And I will top it. I could eat like that. It's perfect. But I will top it with 2 more ingredients. This is 1 ingredient. Also the take 3 method. And 2 more ingredients make it 3 again. That's a strawberry I found here, a fresh one, and a blueberry, a fresh one. So I found both. You could also take frozen ones. Doesn't matter. I always have frozen in the freezer. They're very inexpensive. You can have it all through the year. Once in a while we have a little bit of fortune. In the health food shop they have these special offers, fresh fruit, out of season, but I can't resist. This is so healthy, these fruit. And I just put them together, combine it, and top my granola, my porridge with these wonderful berries. And I will enjoy right away. I'll show you. Looks so nice. Some more blueberries on top. Yeah, blueberries are the healthiest of all fruit. I would say here. That nice? I'm looking forward. And yeah, one more tip. Don't use too much of oat groats, because they can turn a little bit tart. So you have to balance more with macadamias and bananas and lemons and so, and raisins. And if you have oatmeal, the pressed oat, then you can take a little bit more. But you don't need that much anyway, because there's a lot of protein in there, and that's good for some time to keep. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this new breakfast. And well, if you like, thumbs up, subscribe, and be vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter.